Hey guys, welcome to TFGoose Gaming. I'm TFGoose here with Vendetta, and today we are checking out Rogue Legacy. Ermagerd. So love this game, and we got a few videos on this one coming out today, guys. So check out the links in the description there, and the links at the end of the video if you want some more on this. But this is an indie title, and don't be too turned off right now with the kind of sepia tone graphics. This is just the intro of the game, right? So
yeah, the tutorial.
Yeah, exactly, the tutorial. It's just teaching you how to play a little bit, and this is on PC only right now. You can get it on Steam or direct on the Humble Bumble. I think Humble Bumble. Yeah, you know what I mean, guys. But anyway, you start off here and just dome this guy in the face, and then then you can actually start the game. So, man, give us a quick rundown here, man. What's the story? What's going on with this game?
The story is, so as you saw there, you played as a knight and you had to dispatch the king, and following that, your heirs actually try to come and revenge you. So that's kind of what what the premise of the story is thus far.
At least that's what it appears to be, and there's some these diaries that are laying around that we just ran by right there that fill you in on some backstory about the king needing some sort of cure and, trying to find something in this castle that'll cure the king. And those diaries tell the story as well. We're not all the way through the game yet, though, so we're not sure how it ends. But really, the story is kind of nice and everything, but it's just the gameplay that brings you for this game. It's so amazing. So
super addicting. It really doesn't look like it at first, but I'm telling you guys, once you get into it, you will not be able to put it down.
Exactly. We've put probably, I don't know, somewhere on the order of 10 or 12 hours into it in this weekend alone. Yeah. And it just came out Thursday. It was in alpha before that. There's been a couple of videos from some press guys and some other YouTubers who have been following it for a bit, but we got a hold of this sucker, and it is awesome. So as you can see, the game is extremely difficult at the beginning.
Yeah, it really is difficult at the beginning, but, don't let that turn you off, because, trust me, you will get, more powerful as you go on. You just kind of grind it out.
Exactly, and this right here is the big gimmick for the game. When you die, it's not you that starts over. There's no respawn, really. What happens is your heirs, your descendants, if you will, take over from where you left off. But you get to leave them, all of your gold that you collected on your last journey, and as well as your equipment and such. And then they can use it to do upgrades and such at that keep if you had enough. We just didn't right there.
Yeah, because I was awesome and failed to, get 50 gold in the beginning.
Yeah, pretty great. But that's important to realize. And, just noticing how difficult the game really is at the beginning. Every hit does between, a fifth and a quarter of your entire life bar. And it takes you at least, a couple of shots typically to even turn off one guy. So it can be very difficult, but you want to break everything. It's kind of Castlevania-ish in that regard, where you want to break all the background objects and try and find gold or, a leg of meat, like that.
Yeah.
There you go, to get a little bit of health back, or that's actually a mana potion, and see what you can do. And this is a teleporter here. You can use these to navigate around the map a little bit easier. There's typically one of those right before each zone change. There's 4 zones. So we've got the castle here, which we'll be spending the bulk majority of this time in at the front of the video here. And then we'll showcase just a little bit more of the rest of the zones in a little bit. But you basically just want to run around as Vendetta definitely dodges those fireballs.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that, but I was able to.
Yeah, but that's one of the things you want to find there is those little, blacksmith plans. You want to find those things, and that's what enables you to upgrade some of your gear, is finding those plans. You trade them in, you buy some, buy that, that whole plan from the blacksmith, and then you can actually upgrade and get that piece of armor or the sword or cape or whatever. But that's what we just unlocked here, is the smithy. Yes, that guy. I kept wanting to call him blacksmith. Same thing, but...
Yeah, same thing.
So, and here, no, your screen did not just screw up. I promise. Sorry. We just wanted to show this for a moment. But each of your descendants, as you can see, has the capability, or I guess the potential is a better way to say it, of starting the game with certain traits. And one of the traits, results in this. It's called vertigo, I think.
Yeah, vertigo.
Yeah, where it absolutely flips the screen, which is very distracting, obviously. This is probably one of the worst ones that you can get, but some of them are actually beneficial, too. Like, there's one called OCD, and it makes it so you actually get a point of mana back every time that you break any object, you know? And there's another one called eidetic memory, where you get to see all the enemy locations on the map, you know, no matter where they are, even if they're not in the same room as you. So cool stuff like that, but it definitely adds a little bit of character flair, you know, every time.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's the cool part is you only get these 3 choices here every time, you know, and depending on what those choices are, you might not be able to play the class that you really like, but you can play a different class that that has a little bit different traits and more advantageous traits even. And it helps you kind of get a chance to try everything out. It really makes you do that, you know. And
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. So
Yeah, it is awesome because, you know, each of the classes kind of has a different play style. You know, you have your melee, you know, your typical, like your tank, like your knight. You saw we just unlocked the paladin there. You know, that's like a knight with a shield. His big, you know, special ability is block. So that's pretty cool, but he's still pretty tanky. And then you have like kind of rogue-lite characters and haha.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, and so they're kind of they don't have as much hit points, but they do have a lot
Insane
stronger
attack power.
damage. Yeah, their damage is off the charts. So, you know, there's trade-offs there, and obviously you have magic, like, you know, your mage, your archmage, and, you know, lich.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of stuff. And again, you know, guys, if you want a good, really sharp class breakdown of all of the various classes and traits and stuff that you're going to find in the game, there'll be another video for that just linked at the end of this one here. So check that out. But that's kind of like the basic rundown of the game. You want to run through, collect as much gold as you can, find as many plans as you can, and then come back out when you die and use them to upgrade. So here what we're doing is kind of fast forwarding a little bit and giving you guys a sneak peek of where we are currently in the game at level 113. And this is what that keep ends up looking like after you upgrade it many, many, many times.
Oh, how humble we are.
Yeah.
It took a lot of hours and a lot of time to get there, but, you know, it's really worth it.
Yeah, I mean, you can get a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, several of the things on the screen there are just class unlocks or upgraded class unlocks. Other ones are, you know, attack power up and crit chance up and crit damage up and some of the more passive abilities. And then you got some really cool stuff like, you know, there's a death save in there that seems to activate slightly more often than it really should. Because I think we've got like 1.5% chance, you know, and then the probably 50 times or so that we've died, you know, then it's activated like 5 times, I'm pretty sure. And here, yes, that's how not to get a fairy chest.
Yeah, thanks.
No problem.
On the note of fairy chest, guys, you know, you may be wondering what that is. A fairy chest is a thing that houses runes, and that was the lady you saw right next to the blacksmith. And runes can kind of augment your abilities. They are extremely powerful and well worth getting.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to try to get those fairy chests whenever you see them, but there's always some sort of a gimmick to get to them. That one was you had to get to it in 5 seconds, and of course navigate it sort of a puzzle-ish room where you can't see, you know, where the walls are and such. Sometimes it'll be doing stuff like don't jump, and you have to use like abilities to get to it. Other times it'll be in a room full of some enemies or traps and say you can't take any damage, you know, or you can't attack. You just have to get to it before you get killed. You know, so there's always some sort of a gimmick. Some of them are easier than others, but you always want to take a crack at it and get the chest, because if you can collect all those runes and have the ability to augment your character, they can really make the difference. You know, it's really important to try that. So definitely be on the lookout for those. Other times, you know, chests in general you want to get. A lot of times they'll just have gold, but occasionally they'll have those blacksmith plans as well, and those are equally important to get.
Yeah, as a general rule of thumb, you know, for you guys that may not have played a lot of this, gear is always going to be cheaper to upgrade than raw stats. So you really want to try to get as many chests as possible so that you can get the most gear, you know, that you can afford.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really important to try to max out the gear, and each level of the game. You just saw a moment ago, we dropped into sort of the dungeon area. That's the last area. You know, that's not where you want to hang out at the beginning of the game. It's really bad. That's kind of what you might call level 4. The castle here is level 1. And right here, we're actually creeping up on the tower. We'll showcase that in just a second. This is actually kind of the 3rd level where you want to head after you've taken care of the castle and the forest, which we'll go take a look at in a moment. You know, the castle respawns differently every time, you know, too. It's a procedurally generated castle, so don't look at the map here and think that you're working it out and where you need to go.
Yeah, they'll change it up on you unless you use the architect.
That's right. Yeah, one of the NPCs you unlock is the architect, and if you die and your descendant comes back and you want to replay the same castle with that new character, you can tell the architect you want to do that, and for a cost of basically taking 30% of all of the gold that you get in the next run, then he will lock the castle down for you and allow you to go back in and try it again. It's really only useful if you missed some chests, like say a fairy chest maybe, because anything you actually have looted is still gone. But if you missed something and you really want to get it, you know, then you can definitely lock down the castle and go back. It's also a really, really good way to make a boss attempt. If you die on the boss and your next character select screen there has a class that's really, really good for that boss fight, then maybe you go ahead and lock down the castle and just teleport right back to the boss room and take another shot at him. So it's up to you. We did it quite a bit, actually, mainly for chests. You know?
Yeah, mainly for chests, but it definitely is useful for boss runs. You can really try to figure out what the optimal class might be for a particular fight. And, you know, that's how we were able to kind of put one of our videos together for you.
Yeah, that's the other video here that you'll see linked at the end is the first 3 bosses we've encountered so far. We wanted to get those out to you, you know, today, and then we'll keep slugging away at the game and see if we can take out the rest of it and put that out at a later time. But as you can see, again, some of this stuff that you're seeing here with the little dash and the double jump and the fly here, again, that's runes. So you need to have all that stuff. Really, really important, and mobility is so key in this game. You know, as it is in really any sort of platformer or roguelike, you know, you definitely need to be able to avoid, but it's just ever more so in this one, it seems. It's unbelievable. So
seemed to do they had a really fantastic level design. It seems like sometimes you'll just be going along, and then all of a sudden you'll just get hit in the face.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing, or, you know, another word for it might be insidious, that you think you're doing well, and you'll be complimenting yourself even. You know, you'll be like, oh, man, I just totally owned that section. And right after that, you won't even be finished saying that sentence to yourself, you know, and the game will just pound you in the face for no reason, just to make you weep. So
Yeah, this game will definitely humble you, so you need to definitely respect the zones.
Absolutely. And so here is the last zone, and this is the forest. This is actually level 2. We'll show you a little map here in just a second so you can kind of get a basic idea. But the forest is always to the right. The tower is always up above in the northern section, if you will. And then the dungeon is always in the lower area. There you go. And that's kind of the progression you want to go to. You want to start in the castle, head to the forest, then the tower, and then the dungeon. And if you do that, then you can give yourself the best chance at victory there. So
don't stop there, guys, because once you beat the game, there's New Game Plus, so you can definitely continue your character.
Exactly, yeah. So this game is awesome, and hope you guys enjoy it as much as we have here and as much as we're going to. Check out the other couple of videos we've pumped out here. Let us know what you think, and yeah, stay tuned, guys. There's lots more to come.